particular diseases, in drug companies. And the company that I worked for before Pharmanex was a company out on the East Coast in Philadelphia called Wyeth, which is now has become part of Pfizer. So, and another friend of mine was working at Merck, which is another well-known drug company out on the East Coast. But anyway, so we were fairly successful in developing drugs to treat particular diseases. Then the question then became sort of for us, I said, gee, whenever we made an effective drug, it always seems to us that the starting point, in other words, the beginning, how do you get a chemical, or how do you select a chemical or a molecule that's going to be effective against a particular molecular pathway that is triggering that particular disease, right? Mm-hmm. So it invariably we had to go back to natural products, okay, and we sort of say, wow, every time we're not that clever. We literally have to go back to nature to find some active molecules as a starting point, and then we modify it to sort of make them eventually transform them into drugs, But they become synthetic at that point because we've done a lot of chemical manipulation on the molecule. And it comes it comes at a cost. And that is drugs, as we all know, they do tend to come with some significant serious side effects. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of risk benefit. If you take a drug and say, okay, we'll take it to treat the disease, but as soon as the disease goes away, we better stop it because there's serious side effects. Mm. The natural product, by contrast, the original starting molecule, we always seem to find, although it was effective, never had significant side effects. Somehow nature has made that particular molecule to be fairly safe for consumption, especially when they are found or when we isolate it from edible plants or roots or barks and whatever, right? So somehow it has adapted itself to accommodate our bodies. So, but drug companies are never interested because we also find as we go through this drug development process, it became clear to us that we never could find something that is really superior to the original natural product.
Oh, wow.
In terms of safety profile, okay? Mm-hmm. And yet, the drug companies are not willing to sort of pursue that and develop it as a drug or whatever, as a product, because they couldn't patent it. It was purely for an economic reason, right? Even though it was good, it was never sort of pursued by drug companies because they say, why am I going to invest in all this money developing into a drug? And yet, at the end of the game, when it's finally approved, I can't make money because everybody can copy it.
That's great.
So that was really, it was interesting to us. And that time, both myself and one of my co-founders of Pharmanex out at Merck, as I mentioned, we were chatting and we say, wow, it's sort of interesting because our focus is now slowly turning towards what we call prevention. It's really about keeping the body healthy so that eventually that's what really heals the body. To us, that's the difference between curing the body and healing the body. A drug can actually treat a particular disease, but it can never heal if the body isn't healthy.
Wow.
So that was to say, hey, these natural products, if the drug companies are not interested, maybe we can actually start a company and focus on these natural products. We were more sort of saying we can extract more value. We're not as ambitious as drug companies. They make billions of dollars or whatever it is, but really to say to bring the value out of these natural products. But instead of making them to become drugs, we decided that, well, gee, it's better that we focus on the supplement area, the dietary supplement and natural supplements area. And when we looked around, we said, there is an opportunity here because at that time, frankly, it comes back to this question. I didn't believe in supplements, frankly, because they were all developed like snake oil. There was no science, there was no evidence, there was no nothing really regarding their efficacy and safety and so on. But I know that there is intrinsically and inherently these natural products are useful, as I mentioned to you. But they never took the commitment to go do the proper scientific studies.
Wow.
So that was the genesis and the fundamental concept behind Pharmanex when we founded this company in 1996, to make sure that we are developing what I would call, there's one thing really good about the drug industry, and that is they know how to really standardize and develop a consistent product through a specification, setting the specifications and adhering to really evidence-based, or what we call scientific studies, to prove what we say is true and not just say, and that's good enough, and that's how we started Pharmanex back in 95, and we sort of went into 28,000 stores, and we were fairly successful. And then Nu Skin came 3 years later to chat with us, because they look at the story that I just mentioned to all of you, and we sort of decided that maybe it was worth a conversation with Nu Skin, because they were saying that, gee, if you really want to bring this message and this really powerful, compelling approach to natural supplementation and nutritional supplementation, we are interested in combining with you, and in fact, license one of your natural supplements, which was called Cholesterol at that time. They're one of our flagship, if you remember, Jonathan.
Still a great product.
Yeah. So one thing led to another, and finally it came to the point, say, instead of licensing one product, why don't we sort of acquire you? And that's how I became an indentured servant here at Nu Skin back in. And I'm still here after 23 years, Jonathan. When I first met you, it was interesting. I think you were still maybe barely out of high school or something. I don't know. I say, what? I mean, obviously, I know your dad, right? So, yeah.
We went to that first Pharmanex symposium together.
Yes.
That very first one, like when it was acquired. Yeah. So I was like 18 years old at best.
Yeah. So I think that's the beginning of the success process, as you hinted at. And the success process is really about, at the end of the day, is to do all the proper studies and all the proper analysis to make sure that the product is safe and effective. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's really what it's all about. And we use the same process for both our skincare products, and which is obviously Nu Skin has even back 20 years ago. And now we are combining it together with this nutritional supplement that Pharmanex brought into the world of Nu Skin. So it's really a really interesting combination, because if you step back, you say, gee, what has skin got to do with nutrition and wellness and all that kind of stuff? But really, they're really intimately related to each other. And I'll talk about this integration, that we're talking about and going forward and so on. And we have done a lot of innovation over the years. It's H-Law, the scanner, antioxidants, and so on. And I think it's brought it to a stage where now I think we're developing products that are delivering both skin health benefits and also wellness benefits,
Wow.
Yeah. So all in one product. And obviously the one that's coming out actually fairly soon is what we call the wellspa. It's a device. And now that we are the number one, beauty device company in the world, it's sort of it's time that previously all the devices were very either skin or nutrition. Now with this wellspa, it's a disruptive technology. It really truly integrates into one device in this instance, that when you use it, you get skin health and also the wellness benefits all at the same time.
It's incredible. It's an incredible product. I've gotten to try it. There's actually a lot of people on the call that got some in the previews, the Team Elite previews, and they just had a launch all over the world. So many people have gotten it and gotten to try it, and everybody is so excited about this device and especially the consumables with it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And if you look at it, right, I would say I would really, my opinion is I think New Skin has, it's really the only company that could have sort of developed this product.
for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
if we didn't have knowledge in both skin and the nutritional side of things, I don't think we would have been able to develop this integrated product. You know, most other companies is either maybe they're strong in one area, but really on the other area they have nothing, right? One or the other, but never both together. And that is why I think as an opportunity, you know, in New Skin, I look upon this product, this new device as really taking New Skin to the next level. And there's no greater opportunity, Jonathan.
For sure. For
Look at the
sure.
product. Yeah.
I agree 100%. And I mean, we can see it just in so many of the markets that we've been, you know, sharing the story, promoting all of this, the launches and everything. They sold out. Steve Hadget told me yesterday they had to allocate inventory. He had assigned for January and February of next year to go now to like October and November, because that like it's been so bigger than they had anticipated it would be, which is awesome.
It really is, Jonathan. And you know, if there are some EMEA or European, you know, people on this call and so on, I really want to make sure. I mean, this is a thing, right? Because some of the markets that we were in previously, they were exposed to a device that was called a body spa. Jonathan, you may remember that, right? It's really, for me, this is not an upgrade of a body spa. It's a totally different device, because the body spa, because of its physical design and the electrical technology that's in there and so on, and the lack of this I/O, this connectivity, all these things, when you put it together, it doesn't have it, that body spa. This one has all these features, all totally integrated together to be able to really deliver the both the skin and the inside wellness benefits at the same time.
Absolutely. And Steve showed me a video yesterday. For those of you that have access to the app, you might be able to see it when you're using it. You can go to the side at the bottom of the app and it will show you like the measurements that are taken and the frequency that's going into the skin on different parts of your body and how it oscillates. It's like you can see real time while you're doing the treatment, and it's super, super cool to see that.
Yeah. And although, I mean, he probably has also mentioned to you, right? I mean, just that alone to give you that demonstration, that could only have been achieved in the lab, in an engineering lab with a $10,000 oscilloscope.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
We called it the geek mode. We weren't quite sure really how many people, but this what we call the adaptive microcurrent technology that we have put and developed for this device. It's complicated in terms of using engineering language and all that, but it's really important because it's really what makes this particular device so distinctive. And that is the skin. When you look at the skin on your body, first of all, the skin on the rest of the body is actually different from the skin on your face. All right. And one of the most important differences would be relating to what we call conductivity of the skin. Skin can conduct things, but because of its undulating, you can't see it, but it's not absolutely smooth, your skin, throughout your body. So depending on which location of your body that you use your device, we have to ensure for it to be effective, it has to stay in constant contact with the skin. Even if you lift it a little bit, even if you don't know that or notice that you have lifted, that power, the electrical power that we need to deliver into the skin is weakened. And that's why, you know, this geek mode shows you how quickly it moves, like I don't know, 80 pulses per second and all. It's really, it uses that data to make sure that it keeps on delivering the right microcurrent power to the skin to achieve that benefit.
Yeah. really
It's really
cool.
smart.
Yeah,
It's
it's
really
really
cool,
smart.
right? Yeah.
And it can tell, I just learned this yesterday, that when you move from, like, let's say your arm area up
Yeah.
into maybe like your shoulder or something, it might require more frequency here because you have more muscle mass, but
You
up
got
here
it.
more bony. So it'll like short circuit itself for
Yeah.
like a millisecond and then change the current so that it's for the right place. And
Yeah.
we don't even have to think about it, which is so
No, no,
cool.
yeah, it really is. And that's why I'm talking about the changes in the skin conductivity is directly related to, your muscle mass and your skin thickness and so on at different parts of your body.
It's
And
crazy. We
it's
had
really,
some people ask, like, I don't know if you know the answers to this or not, but somebody was told that they couldn't use it on their neck. Is that true?
ah,
I know.
let me clarify that. It's really actually the neck area is really important, right? And for relaxation, particularly, you notice, right? Instinctively, when you want to relax, somebody will come to your neck and rub it, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and you feel some relaxation. So getting that particular, even just that massaging action is a good thing. So this device can be used around the neck area. No problem.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Good.
there's
Absolutely.
no
And
problem.
what about
Absolutely.
for people who have like any kind of surgeries with metal inserted in their body? Do they have to maybe talk to a doctor first, or can they feel safe using it?
I think this one is fairly safe because it's usually it's what should I say? It's more of a localized electrical phenomenon. In other words, when you use it in that area, that's the area where it affects.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and the electricity doesn't go all over the body.
Okay.
It's just around that area. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, one thing to
Listen,
be,
Joe, I got a couple pins in my knee,
yeah,
fighting my whole life. If I go put this thing on my knee and I get shocked
yeah.
half to death, I'm coming to see you, Joe.
Well, that's your problem for putting, for breaking all your bones, in your physical activity. Anyway, yeah. But the thing is, right? It's also some folks may feel a little bit of tingling sensation. And that is because the gel which is used, the two gels we are supplying together with the device, these gels are important to conduct the electricity or this microcurrent, right? So when it starts to dry as you use it, it may be tingling. So
Okay.
apply more gel on to make sure that the connection between the skin and the device is optimal in that
Okay.
sense. This
Great.
is really important in the sense that, again, to see how unique this thing is, the gel has actually, it's not just a conducting gel. The gel also has some active ingredients in it. And these active ingredients are going into the body when you use it together with the device. Okay. And these ingredients will trigger the release of some substances that are called endorphins.
That's in the activating gel?
Yeah, that's in the body serum.
Oh, body serum. Okay.
Yeah, the body serum. So I think the active gel, I have to check on it. That definitely in the body serum. Okay. So what happened is that these endorphins, some people may know and some may not, is the fact that these endorphins are what they call the well-being, natural well-being, relaxing substances that your body uses to help you get into a state of calmness. All right. Let me explain to you why marathon runners run. Marathon runners run because they are addicted to the release of these endorphins without them knowing it. Because you notice when there is an avid runner, they tend to get into a what I call a withdrawal symptom if they don't run after a couple of days. They get real jittery. They say, why am I not running? I got to go and I need to get at least a couple of miles into my run and so on. Okay. And that is because without them knowing it, physiologically, as they run, they release these endorphins in their body. And they get a sense of really feeling good. Well, this device with this particular ingredient, actually, when it gets into the body, will do the same thing.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to try it yet, but I can't wait to try that.
No.
Yeah, that sounds
Right.
amazing.
which is why, when we talk about this device, we say it will restore the body. It will help the body to recover. I'm really talking about those two particular benefits are more related to you, helping you to achieve a higher level of well-being. For example, when you look at a guy, right, and anybody really, when you go and exercise, you should be warming up a little. You're a taekwondo, right, Jonathan?
I did everything, taekwondo, boxing,
whatever you did. But typically, most of you tend to warm up a little bit before you go into a real intense phase, correct? Yeah, you got to warm up your muscles. That's called a pre-workout or whatever. Most athletes, if you run 100 yards or whatever, you can't just get on the starting blocks and shoot out as well, right? You got to warm up your muscles, right? In fact, you got to work up a little bit of a sweat, if you will, isn't it?
You're gonna hurt yourself for sure.
Or you're going to hurt yourself. This thing actually helps you to do part of that.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
That's part that, in fact, this should be part of your pre-workout regimen.
I mean, I use it because of like the peanut nodules for like instrument assisted soft tissue massage with the current. So I'll use that like on whenever I have like something in my elbow or my knees or something. If the patellas aren't tracking right, it fixes it like this. Right. It's amazing.
And then if I talk about after the exercise, you come back. What do people do? They tend, football, whatever it is, or you want. They don't immediately stop exercising and sit down. They tend to sort of like, you have to taper yourself down, right? During your post-workout, or you're going to cramp, isn't it? Yeah. Similar under those, in that particular phase, you should also be using your wellspa.
Well, my wife about to have a full-time job, Joe. I'm telling you.
I tell you, this device should be in every gym bag. There's no reason why, every guy or every athlete or whoever, in whether you're doing yoga, whether this is really a wonderful complement to those kinds of activities. So
I've had tremendous benefits with it, getting rid of like muscle adhesions, so that the muscle filaments are sliding better and like together so that the workouts are more effective. I take it with me into the gym just for that, honestly. Because I think it helps a lot. It helps so much.
It's really quite incredible. As a scientist, I'm sort of, when we thought about this particular device, I was thinking, gee, how great it is really if we can, in one particular device, we keep on having these things to use on the skin. Initially on the focus on the face, fine, face very localized. But then as we're starting to look at the rest of the body, I say, wait a minute. When you are using it on the skin, surely you must be doing something else inside under the skin. All right. And that's where we started to look at this system that's called the lymphatic system. And that's the scientific basis, actually the beginning of the development of this device, is that the lymphatic system, unlike blood circulation, it doesn't have a pump.
Oh.
The blood has a pump. It has a heart. So whether you're sitting down, lying down, or whatever, the heart will pump your blood throughout your body. The lymph on the other side, which is equally important to keep you healthy, right? And because it's a transport system for all sorts of things in the body. In fact, it's a sewer system. All your waste products in your body is being transported out first initially.
Stuck there.
Yeah. It's like sludge, right?
Yeah.
So it has no pump. It can only move through gravity. So what do? You don't believe me? Go on a 6-hour flight, which I'm going to do tomorrow.
No, thank you.
Right? You sit down, and what happens? You take your shoes off. When you land, you can't put your shoes back on. Because your lymph has pulled all down to your feet.
Wow.
And it gets swollen. And that's why you can't shove your feet back into your shoes. You've got to get the lymph. Can you imagine? That's what you need to do.
That's awesome. Wow. Yeah, I mean that is like one of the biggest parts for this entire device. And I know certain markets have restrictions on whether they can say lymphatic drainage or not.
Yeah.
But for all of you on the call, look, you heard it from Dr. Chang himself. Say it privately with people. Say it privately with people. Let the people understand all the benefits that are associated with this device. You know what I mean? Don't get yourself into trouble posting stuff you know you're not allowed to post,
Yeah.
but explain to people directly in a way that's meaningful to them so they can understand how amazing these products really are. Because whether it's in the USA, Japan, Korea, the Pacific, whatever market this WellSpa or Renew Spa is in, it does the same thing. So
Can you imagine, Jonathan? It's sort of that you're on a trip sitting next to your passenger next to you, and you check out your well spa and you start rubbing because it's useful. You should be doing that.
you're gonna get kicked off the plane, Joe.
No, I'm gonna guarantee you, I'm gonna guarantee you somebody will be saying, what on earth are you doing? And what is that device? What a great
That's true.
conversation starter, isn't it, Jonathan?
Yeah, it could. I mean, it could be a great conversation starter for the
Yeah.
business, or a great
It's
conversation
on the arm and all that.
on
Yeah.
the way to prison.
Yeah. But an important point this raises for me is the fact that when you use this device, because of this lymphatic system, there's a directional rub or a massage that you should be doing, right? On the arm, try and get it towards the chest kind of thing. And then on the legs is to come up towards the chest. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because those are where the reservoirs are around the chest area. You got to drive the lymph into those reservoirs
Oh,
for redistribution
okay.
and so on.
So when you're using it for the lymphatic drainage purposes on your extremities, you have to do it in like in an upwards motion towards your torso.
It's good. That would be good. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I definitely wasn't doing that. So
I think this really, frankly, I'm excited about this device because I see it can deliver so many benefits, and it's not just about the skin, right?
For sure. And when we're talking about this whole AI, IoT data collection, the whole advent of this technological innovation, and we're primed to disrupt, the beauty, skincare, health, and wellness industries. This device is such a great tool to use to connect it directly to that story.
Yeah.
That device takes 151 measurements per second.
Yes.
It is crazy the data that one device alone collects about us. And when you connect with the digital twin, how it's got what's that thing? Not an escalator. I forget what it's called.
Accelerometer. Yeah.
Accelerometer. Thank you. Escalator. It's got an escalator in the device, guys. Okay. An accelerometer that can trace your body. So that's going to be your body for your digital twin. The Lumi IO trace your face. That's your face for your digital twin. All of a sudden, you're connecting the dots to a huge opportunity story while using a product that's just launched.
Yeah.
You can win all day long when you do that. All day long.
Yeah. It's no doubt. And also when you're using the smartphone and all, when you connect it, it can actually demo in one feature we call the geek mode. We talk about it. Yeah. It can actually show you why those 80 pulses per second and all those things are actually in real time. We're sensing it. This is not some figment of our imagination. It's not sensing the skin and so on. That's a perfect, because when you have to create what we call a digital twin, the reality is, right, you got to get data from the body. If I can't get data from your body, how am I going to replicate you in a way to duplicate your body? I can't. I don't know what's going on, right? And that's why this is really a smart in that sense. This device is that I'm getting data from you in real time.
Yep.
And it's just, as we go along.
And for those of you that have it, I highly recommend trying that geek mode. If you can find it, because it's really cool to see. It's called geek mode. You might even be able to look it up how to find it if it doesn't say it in your manual or whatever, but definitely worth taking a look at. What else do we got about WellSpa? Is that pretty much everything, WellSpa?
Yeah, some questions here about heart condition and so on, and on the chat page, I noticed. So be careful. Again, pacemaker only saying, with those things. AFib, I'm hoping if this person has been diagnosed, with afibrillation and so on, I'm assuming that person is being treated because right, yeah, because that is a serious condition, and just be careful with using.
I have been told, yes, one person per device.
Yeah.
If you use more than one person on the device, the motor is not going to last as long. So it's best always to have one device per person.
Yeah.
And I believe right now the app is only set up so that, you know, when you buy it and connect to the app, that device can only be connected to one person at this point in time right now. So for now, yes, one person for one device. Will we ever get a demo mode?
It will on the Vera. I think you'll be able to see, you know, when I mentioned that directional, how to use it, for example, it has some coaching segments to it. Yeah, it has some coaching segments to it, if you will, to show you.
For sure. The virtual reality kind of
exactly
those videos.
Yeah.
Can pregnant women use it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you though, it'll be all kinds of. Oh, I knew sooner or later this is going to come up. And Savannah is asking something about spider veins, which I'm assuming are synonymous with varicose. Yeah, I've seen some really significant benefits with that. Yeah.
And what would you recommend using, like dramatic effects with the varicose veins?
Yeah. After that, you can use a dramatic for that. There is another product we can bring out, body polishing cream and so on. Yeah, it'll be good. Yeah. It all depends. You see, on the business side, right? And all the other thing is, it's no more just, I mean, the galvanic spa, sometimes when you talk to a guy, the guy says, oh yeah, it's sort of women, face looks great, firm, all this. But this one is really truly what I call a unisex or a gender neutral device. Everybody will find some benefits with it. It's just it's just depending on what you want and so on, whether it's, you know, post recovery, getting your skin looking better, whether it's spider veins or cellulite and so on, you can achieve it with this particular device.
Amazing. I mean, and I'm the biggest skeptic that you can find. And when they were saying, oh yeah, it's a health wellness device, it can do this, and I'm like, yeah, right. I'm like, do I got to get my hand wet to touch the thing? Because that's why I didn't use the other stuff, like, you know. So and then they were like, no, you don't. And I was like,
right,
I'll try it, but I'm still not buying what you're selling. So then I tried it, and I was like, I had trained, I got some nasty calf kicks, I was like hobbling around my house, and I had received the device. I took Flex Cream. I did 2 back-to-back treatments of 5 minutes with Flex Cream on my calf. Okay. And after I finished, I was like, okay, I walked around. I felt pretty good. I went to the gym and started to try some stuff out. I decided to try to jump rope, and I could jump rope. And I was literally struggling to walk upstairs. And it's because of that device. And I was like, I'm converted. This is the truth. This is the best thing I've ever found. It's crazy. So what about let's talk about TRMe.
Yes.
What do you know about TRMe? Tell us all about it. Where is it actually right now?
It's been launched in China, mainland China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan, particularly. By the end of the year, I suspect it will also be launched in Southeast Asia fairly soon. Australia already have it. The Australians are using it, since July, I think. I was there talking about TRMe with them and so on. Kate Edwards could tell you way more about TRMe in Australia. So, one of the challenges we had, and it's, we always had a weight management system, right, in Nu Skin, and there always has been good. TR90, for example, was the one that is before TRMe, and the reality was that we began to see that one of the challenges we have, no matter how good a system is, if I can't get somebody to really respond or they see some differences, i.e. in weight loss or whatever it is, within a short period of time, like 14 days, all right, the motivation isn't quite there yet. Frankly, that's what it is. I know 14 days should never be the permanent program for weight management. All right. But I also have to realize the reality. And that is, frankly, I need to get somebody to see some results soon.
Yeah.
And that's what the beginning of this idea about TRME is to say, okay, it's really in a way, I guess it's a personalized weight management system that everybody starts on a 14-day program. All right. And then when you use the 14 program, when you start seeing the results, and we know that you can see some results, right? Simple result, weight loss, a couple of pounds, 2-3 pounds or whatever, some maybe more, but typically it's only around a couple of pounds or so on. You're seeing that I'm not telling you that our system is not working. All right. You're motivated.
Right.
Right. So therefore you will continue using that program. And I'm hoping eventually you will be sort of transitioning to the 90-day program to get that really, truly permanent, more permanent reduction in your weight.
Oh, wow. So TRME is just a 14-day program?
It's just a 14-day right now.
And then, so the 90-day, would that mean that they would move on to just TR90?
Yeah, they can duplicate it and they can use it again for another 14 days. There is another package, I think, in Australia, they have what they call a TR30, TRME 30. All right. Okay. They can transition over to that and so on. And then some of the markets will also have the 90 days as well, because
does the TRME still have the claim back in the day with TR90 where they showed in human trials that people that did the TR90 program, as they lost weight, they did not lose muscle mass. They were able to
absolutely all the time.
The same.
Yeah, we never deviate from that. That's TR90 is really an expansion of the TR14. We somehow just bring it down to bare essentials. It's almost like a sample program.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, it's a sampling program that will help you and motivate you and show you that the 90-day program actually will work for you.
Oh, wow.
Do that.
Okay, that's cool. I like that. That's great. I mean, that claim is the big, I mean, I'm not aware of any other claim in fitness that can make that claim where you lose weight, but you maintain your muscle mass. Yeah. Typically, I've been in fitness for a long time. When you cut weight, you cut muscle as well.
Yes.
And you end up, you can, like, people that do this, girls that run on the treadmill all the time and like starve themselves, you end up with like skinny fat people. You get these skinny fat people. When I was in fitness, I would do assessments with the body fat calipers. And one time I had a model, she was a model for Victoria's Secret. She came in and I was just like, this is going to be my best client ever. And like, so I get to do all the body fat stuff. And I was just like, it's the greatest day of my life. And I'm like, I do the body fat stuff. And when I had to check her thigh area, I pinched it and I was just like, oh my gosh. Like when I pinched it, I knew, because I had done so many, that she's going to be like over 30% body fat. Yeah. And I took the measurement and I was like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna tell her this? This is crazy. I told her, I was like, yo, I know you're Victoria's Secret model, but I hate to break it to you. According to these numbers, you're fat. Like you got 30% body fat and we need to work on that. So glad because you picked the right guy. You're gonna be with me for a long time.
Yeah. No, wait,
that's a huge thing with TRME and TR90 program that you can, it's the only program that I'm aware of that you can do the program, lose weight and maintain your muscle mass, which means the majority of the weight you're losing, if it's not water, is fat. Yeah.
No, it's really an interesting point is there is a connection between the wellspa device and weight management. Because as you lose weight, remember now, your skin had been stretched by all the fat, right? Underneath it. Now, as you lose the fat, your skin is going to shrivel. And they're going to look a bit more wrinkled and not as smooth because previously it was stretched by the fat. Okay. So therefore, as you're losing it, remember the WellSpa will provide a complementary benefit, and that it will sculpt your body back to a better, a more toned looking body.
Wow. That's awesome. I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah, think about it. That's where the integration can also happen. Yeah, there's a reason for it. It's not one or the other. They're very complementary.
Wow. Wow. That's cool. And so does the TRME like 14 day, does it have like an induction phase to it or something, you know, like how South Beach diet or Atkins diet or even the zone diet, they put you in, it's kind of like a 2-week phase where you're limited to the kind of foods you can eat so that you get these kind of dramatic results that will
Not on
then
this
keep
one.
you on the program and you can, okay.
On this one, we just want to make sure it's a portion control, but we are focusing obviously a bit more on the protein because the protein is the source of your muscle, if you will, right? You cannot sacrifice that too much. But you see, that's the reason why they all call diets. Because at the end of the day, what is a diet? It's something that you stop and you go back to original eating. Yeah. We're hoping that with this particular program, a healthy way to manage your weight. In other words, it's a lifestyle change. And then if you can do that lifestyle change and keep that lifestyle change, it's way better than going on a diet because you're going to yo-yo on a diet. You stop that program, you're going to rebound like crazy and become, Mr. Michelin man again.
I can tell you I lived it.
Yeah,
I
there
did
you go.
cabbage soup diet. How many of you heard about the cabbage soup diet? Y'all heard about that diet? Yeah. Oh my gosh, I was this fat kid. I did the cabbage soup diet. I must have lost like 20 pounds,
right.
But I lost weight because the soup tastes like sewage, so you don't eat it. And then you get like 3 grapefruits on a day. I was starving, okay? I lost literally 20 pounds.
You look great.
But like, you look great. And I was like, I feel like I'm gonna die. Started eating, I gained back like 40 pounds. And I was like, if I ever meet the guy who created the cabbage soup diet, I'm gonna kick him in his balls. I swear on my life. That man is the worst man on the planet. Oh my gosh.
That's why they call it a diet,
Oh my gosh. So what about can you talk anything about the new scanner that is coming out?
Well, so we have the scanner for over more than 15 years now, right? 2001, thereabout. Yeah. So
for those of you who haven't seen the scanner, it's kind of like a large machine.
Yes. So now we have reached a point where we think with the new technologies and with new components and so on, that we can actually make one or develop one that doesn't require the palm. It just requires a finger.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So just go with a finger and it's all our own technology and so on. And we have already done the studies to show that it's just no difference in terms of whether you measure it on the palm, which is what we are currently doing, correct? And using the finger. And we're hoping it's much smaller.
So it's going to make it much more accessible to everybody.
Yeah, it's a tabletop. You almost can put it into your pocket. Yeah. So, and
will they take any other information besides the carotenoid score? Are we gonna get more information?
It all depends. We are looking at that. The carotenoid score is obviously still the basis of it. But maybe now that we have developed all these other things like Vera app and the digital app, we can incorporate those things into this device as well.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. And also in a way, maybe what we could do is to have it to talk to our wellspa.
Oh.
And so other devices as well. So, and say, hey, wait a minute, while you're measuring your scan, it looks like, well, you're good on antioxidant, but, there's something about your skin that maybe the wellspa can help. So we're trying to integrate all these together. So there's a reason for people to not just focus on one thing and say, oh, okay, that's the only thing we have in Nu Skin.
That's awesome. That's really cool. That is really, really cool.
Yeah. So we'll see lots of interesting things, as you can imagine. I'm just hoping. I mean, it's really, we're at a point now. I think once again for Nu Skin, it's an inflection point, I call it. If leaders like you guys, if you don't do it with this product, I'm not sure what else I can bring to you. You guys got to make this work for me, Jonathan.
Oh, believe me,
I'm so
this is going to be
excited.
huge.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about it. Yeah, we all got it. It's amazing. Wow, for real. Oh my gosh. So what about any innovations insofar as nutritionals that are coming out? Is there anything that you can talk about?
Well, there's one big area that I think we are focusing on it and we are developing it is relating to mental health.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's a big issue. And I think we have some sort of ideas and some products in the pipeline that can address it. I mean, mental health is a very broad area, right? I mean, people need to sleep, for example, better quality of sleep. I think we can develop a product for that kind of benefit. Focus, yeah, and so on.
That one we're going to stuff like gosh, what's it called? Like the limitless pill. I'm losing the
Yes.
what's it called? Oh my gosh.
You see, you need a pill too.
I need the pill. I talk about
You're
it all the time.
forgetting,
Like, how come I cannot
you're
remember it?
forgetting things,
Oh my
right?
gosh. But about like, unleashing the brain power, using more of the brain power.
Yes, yes, yes.
What is that called? It's a buzzword in the USA. Anyways, whatever. But I had heard that they were working on looking at stuff like that, as well as a nutritional that might be able to map the brain so
Yeah.
that you can be able to see how much you're using.
Yeah. And again, it's sort of interesting, right? One of the things that the brain, and it's a very recent discovery, is the fact that it's also related to this sort of on the scientific side, something to do with the lymphatic system too.
Really?
Yeah. Because
No way.
remember, here's the reason why is I have to talk some science here because it's really quite fascinating. Your brain is the most metabolically active organ or tissue in your body.
Oh.
That's the reason why the brain dies if it is deprived of oxygen for 15 minutes, right? Because it constantly requires oxygen to function. Okay? So it's like an engine. It's like a really high octane engine that needs a lot of gas to drive it. And the gas is obviously oxygen for the brain. All right. So we know that. But at the same time, we also know that the brain is not 100% efficient. In order for us to process things and so on, to think, to talk, to whatever, that requires a lot of biochemistry happening inside the brain. And when that biochemistry is revved up and functioning really at a high level, and it does all the time in the brain, it produces a lot of waste products. How do you get rid of those waste products? It goes through the lymphatic system.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So
Now,
we should use the wellspa on our head?
yeah, well, no, the thing is, fascinating, these lymphatic systems are related to the brain. It's not active while we are awake. It doesn't function. Okay? The only time it gets activated is when you go to sleep.
No way.
Yes. Once you go to sleep, that's when the waste products that are being produced when you're awake in the brain are being transported out and excreted out of the brain.
Oh, wow.
Through this, what they call the lymphatic system.
Huh.
So
That's interesting.
That's why now we know, because up to this point, there's very little understanding why we need to sleep. Okay, that's why. Because if you want to torture somebody, what is the most important thing you can do? Deprive the guy of sleep, and that person will give you anything, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's now we know is because of the accumulation of these waste products in the brain.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Anyway, so there's something you want to talk about future. That's another exciting development.
That's crazy. Oh, neurotropics was the word. Neurotropics.
Oh, neurotropic, yeah, no, nootropic. I think,
Nootropic.
yes,
nootropic.
yeah. Those guys, yeah. they throw out all these interesting, sexy words, and they have no idea what on earth how are they going to get at it. You know, yeah, it makes you. It's supposed to make you focus, Jonathan. Yeah, but I think
Good
now
luck.
yeah. So it comes back to the whole point, right? It's the science that we do and the R&D that we do. It sort of creates these new ideas and new concepts, and which is based on scientific data and not just some crazy off the wall something that is never not backed up by any scientific data.
And Joe, would you actually share with everybody on the call today what you shared at the cruise about the product launch that the test came back and then you had to do something different? Do you know what I'm talking about? There was a convention.
Several years ago.
Remember what I'm talking about?
I think I do. Are you talking about we developed this product and it was undergoing clinical studies and scientific testing? And a month before the convention, we already have this product manufactured and ready to launch and distributed during the convention, in fact, right? And then the results came back and the results say, this thing sucks. It doesn't work. I mean, is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
And we look at the data and say, now that we spent hundreds and thousands of dollars doing these clinical studies, and the evidence comes back and say it doesn't work that we think it should work, but it doesn't. What are we going to do? I mean, it's sort of like, wow, invested all this time and effort and money. Well, it was already printed in the catalog.
No.
Yeah. It was already announced in some pamphlet that we're going to distribute. We literally have to put a banner over that particular page and say this product, due to lack of efficacy, we will be not launching it at the convention.
I mean, I love that story. I love that story. I share it all the time because a lot of companies would have said, forget it. We're not going to tell them, we're going to sell out of it and then we won't make it again. Right. Whereas Nu Skin, they're only going to deliver the products that are proven, that they work, that have all the best clinicals done on it, that they're effective, that they're safe. That's the only kind of products that we're going to deliver. And I can't think of one other company on this planet that would do the same thing.
Yeah. Because really, I mean, on a personal level, John, I just don't want any of our products embarrass you. That's really at the end of the day, it's something that is a personal sort of commitment or promise on my part. That's why we do all the science, because I can't actually assure you of that if I don't have the data, because I'll be just blowing smoke. Mm-hmm. So science can be pretty boring, frankly, in that sense, and so on. But it serves a purpose, and that is to give me the evidence and the substantiation.
Well, we definitely appreciate you so much, Joe, for everything that you've done for this amazing corporation and for all of our businesses and making the best products in the world the way that you only know how to do. We thank you so much for that, because without you here, man, I mean, we would not have the success that we have had. You are integral to our business and to the company for sure. And so we're very grateful that you are here with us and are willing to share all this information with us and all these incredible stories. And I hope I get to harass you on a cruise again sometime soon.
We will. That's a promise, Jonathan. It's always a lot of fun, right?
I try. But thank you so much, Joe, for your time. And we would love to have you on again. I will harass you via text. So when you're back in town, we can, have another nice conversation. And I can't wait.
No problem. Anytime, Jonathan. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, guys. So if you are going to participate in the updates and overview, I have recorded this meeting today. So once we finish the updates and overview,